Hello, my Teaserking family. I'm very happy to be here today. I wasn't sure I was going to be. So, yesterday I wake up in a big pain in my back and my side. I don't know what it is. I slept Sunday, I didn't have it, and I wake up Monday morning, I have it. Go to the bank, go to the grocery store, do my interview, do my class. It's bothering me a little, but nothing. I don't know what the fuck it is. You get a little paranoid because it's your back. Oh, you can have a heart attack if it's your back. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. So I go to bed last night. I can't sleep much. I finally get to sleep. So I says, you know what? My back's hurting. I'm going to the doctor. So I go to the doctor, but the doctor I thought would be open as a clinic early. It wasn't. Didn't open until 9. And it's 7:30, and I'm like, well, what do I do? So at 7:30, I go to the club. Well, I'm going to go swim and see if, just get in the pool and walk, and maybe it'll feel better. And then that turned into a run, and that turned into a half hour. Then I go into the hot tub, and I let the jet sit in my back. I come out of the hot tub, I'm fine. No more pain. Don't go to the doctor. What am I going to do? Say, yeah, I'm here, but I don't have any problems. It's like taking your car into the mechanic. Well, I don't have any problems. I'm just here. So I came home. I took a nap, updated my football, and we're all set for next week. So I did not go to the doctor. I didn't think there was a need. I mean, it's funny when you get a hard, when you get a problem, you don't know what it is. Makes it very difficult. Anyway, so as far as I know, I'm fine. I don't have a back problem. I have no idea what it was. Deep down, I knew I was okay because I wasn't feverish or vomiting. If you're having a heart attack, you're going to sweat, and you're going to have a fever, you're going to be throwing up, you might have blood in your stool. I knew I didn't have that, and I knew I'd been talking to my doctor before about a pain in my arm, and he says, if you don't have those symptoms, you don't have a heart attack. So I didn't have those symptoms, so I'm like, what the fuck's going on with my back? Maybe I have gout in my back. Last week I got gout in my knee, and then I did a 66-hour fast, and it went away. Anyway, so I don't know what it was. I assume it was either I had problems digesting something, or I just slept wrong Sunday night and my back tightened up. I don't know, but I did most of my stuff yesterday, and I was a little tired, but I don't think I got up early. Anyway, so I'm fine and I'm happy, and I'm calling the girls at 1 a.m. Well, if you don't hear from me anymore, I didn't make it. And it's real sobering because the girls are there. So if something happened to me, they would have no idea. They'd be like, why isn't Howard talking to us? So I said, we'll have to figure out what to do, but basically that. And then, of course, I called them all and said, no, I'm fine. So you can do a voice message on WhatsApp where you can actually talk. So it worked for everybody but Daria, since she doesn't speak very good English. There was nothing I could say to her, but everybody else could get the message, and they're happy I'm okay. The golden goose is okay, so they're fine. All right. Last night we finish off the week with the Jets. I'm not watching the game. I look at the score at 11:30, and it's 16-16, going to overtime. I go back 5 minutes later. As they score, I refresh. Jets win 22-16. Okay, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers didn't play the whole game. So I start looking at the box score to see how Rodgers did, and it says 0-1. And then it shows the other guy in, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Then I start reading. Now, I don't know, did he hurt his Achilles or not? when I go on the injury list, it says day-to-day with an ankle. So it looked like he hurt it severely. He had to get carted off, but maybe it's just one day. I mean, they tape up. I blame that totally on the artificial turf. I was listening to the morning show on the way, to swim or the way back, and they're like, "Oh no, the artificial turf wouldn't have anything to do with it." Bullshit! What a bunch of morons! It was totally the artificial turf. You can see his foot kind of get caught in it. Had he been on grass in Green Bay, which he's used to, I'm sure he would have been fine. And it really sucks. You wanted to see him, but they looked really good. Again, that's why we bet defense. They just shut down Josh Allen, and then our guy came in, and he's been looking pretty good. He was the guy from BYU, Zach Wilson. I always thought he was good. He's learning from Favre. He got most of the snaps in the preseason, and that's what happened. So he was ready to go because he saw a lot of action in preseason. Funny how that works. So we get the W. Big day, big weekend. Now I was able to rake the teams, and here's what I come up with. So we'll go down the list, and let's revisit. Let us revisit the line, and then we'll go through. We'll go through the teams as we go through the line. And then we'll take a look at college. Hey, the real D. Oh, yeah, well, even without Rodgers, they still get the W. That's what's fucking impressive. So let's see what the line switched to with now that we got Wilson instead of Rodgers. But the key to the bet was the defense. The Jets defense just shut down Josh Allen. 3 picks. I don't know how many sacks, but you bet the defense because they always show up. You know, here Rodgers basically doesn't even play, and they still get the W. Now we have a very interesting phenomenon. Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Kansas City all lost week 1, all need week 2. They cannot go 0-2. I don't remember the last time I've seen the 3 best teams all lose. However, hopefully Aaron Rodgers gets back. I don't know. We'll have to look at it. All right, so we got the Eagles 7-48. And not a must win. They won. I got the Eagles as well, they're kind of not an A team because they won 25-20. So an A team is like, who's the A team? Baltimore, Frisco, the Rams, the Jets, Dallas. Dallas is like the prime A team. They win 40-0. That good offense, good defense. That's what you want. Now Philly, they got 2 new coordinators. Their defense didn't look that good. Their offense looked okay. I thought their defense looked really bad against Mac Jones. He threw the ball 50 times. They should have been blitzing him. It's because now the gambling is mainstream. What do you mean gambling is mainstream? Gambling's always been mainstream. Laugh a lot. They can't script a better game line. It never used to be in the NFL official broadcast. I don't know what we're talking about. So now probably 65 to 75% of the adult viewership is gambling. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, 1777. I've been watching football my whole life, and there's always been 99% of the people that watch football bet on it. That was why they watch football. So it's 95% of the people watching football are betting it. I don't know, 65, 75. Now, the game obviously wasn't scripted. Kirk Cousins always struggles on prime time. Kirk Cousins struggled against Tampa Bay. That's why you're seeing all the top teams losing. No, you're seeing the top teams losing because Burrow didn't play. The Chiefs dropped 25 passes, and Buffalo played the Jets. I mean, they lost to a better team, Buffalo. Cincy, this is what happens when you don't play Burrow in the preseason. And Kansas City was a fluke they lost. That's not why you're seeing the teams lose. I mean, that happens. It's just that's the way football is. So I got Philly's kind of an over. They scored 25, but they gave up 20. So it's close to that. San Diego is 3-45. That number stayed. They're an over team. They gave up 30 points and they scored 30 points. Exactly what we thought. Tennessee is an under team. They played a 17-16 game. So that's exactly who we thought Tennessee was. Green Bay 1.5. 40.5 to Atlanta. Green Bay is the A team. They won 38-20. Atlanta, I have as a B team where they won 25 to whatever, but they beat Carolina. So again, you got to kind of watch. Baltimore's an A team, but they beat Houston, so we got to be careful. Indy won over Houston in a 40. Indy was more of an over because they played Jacksonville 31-21 and Houston got killed. It was more of a W, maybe a Z team. So I'm going to change that after 3 weeks. This is what the number says, but I don't believe it. And then as we get going, we'll start seeing it. And that's what we need to see. What are the teams this year? We know what they were last year, but we don't care. Are they still the same team or not? And that's what we're looking for. All right. Possible. What teams you feel like going to be mad in week 2? Well, the teams that lost, of course. Philly got outscored 20-9 after they went up 16-0. I think Vikings to cover is a good play. What Philly did with New England is a whole different story than what we're going to do with Minnesota. Every game is a matchup. And, many lost to Tampa 20-17. How does that fit in the equation? Hey, Bobby Bo. Well, I didn't die, Bobby Bo. I thought I was near death. My back was killing me. I thought I'm having a heart attack or something with no sweat, no throw up. So you'll love this story. So I go to the doctor, and the doctor's not open yet till 9. It's 7 o'clock. So I go swim and I run in the pool, and I'm able to do it. So I do a half-hour run. And I go, well, if I'm having a heart attack, how the hell can I run in the pool a half hour? Then I hit the hot tub and the jets are on my back. I get out. I feel fine. So I'm okay. I've recovered. The girls are happy. So Anyway, I was a little scared last night. Is Rodgers now? Is it like is Achilles? He's out for the year. 'Cause I see ankle day to day. Well, I don't see him coming back next year. This is the same thing that happened to Isaiah Thomas. He hurt his Achilles, and he said, "Fuck it." I'm okay. I just said I was a little bit worried, but after the run, it's funny how no matter what's happening to me, I go run in that pool, and I guess the blood flows and everything, and I always feel better. Then I go hot tub it. My feet are bothering me, my knees bothering me, my back. You go run in the pool, and it's like I don't know. It's just something about the water that just fixes me up. So I don't know that Philly, because they got outscored by New England when they had the lead the whole game. It was 16, then it was 25-14. So it was never. They were just playing with the lead. They got new coordinators and everything else. So he's probably out. Are the Jets really done, Bobby? Zach Wilson came in and beat Buffalo, basically, played the whole game. Their defense is number one. I mean, this is such a strong defense. I don't know that they're done. I think Zach Wilson played preseason, and they're damn lucky he did. He came in, didn't miss a beat. He played just as good as Rodgers. He hit Lazard. He hit the Green Bay guys. Good running. Great defense. So I'm not sure they're done. I think they've turned from an A team into an under team is what they've done. All right, so the Lions, 5.5, 47, down from 49. Interesting. And in this one, we have Seattle as a W team. They didn't score a lot. They gave up a lot to the Rams. In Detroit, kind of like an even team, right? They lost. It was a 21-20 game. So the defense gives up 20, but their offense only gets 21 against KC, and their defensive lineman will be back this week. He finally signed a contract. As soon as they lose, okay, we need him back. Sign him up, and they sign him up. It was exactly what I mean. I remember Emmitt Smith did that. He sat out for 2 games, and then Jimmy Johnson made him sign him. So it's funny how those guys. Bosa signed just before, and he played. You're going to see a different Kansas City team this week. So you got Seattle, who I know will score more. I don't know what happened. I mean, they were 13-3, 13-10. Next thing you know, the Rams won 30-13. You're like, why did they stop scoring? But that's what you get with Aaron Donald. And I was listening to the radio, and some guys saying how bad they lost to the woeful Rams. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are the Rams woeful? They're woeful without Stafford. He's playing. Aaron Donald's playing. They're not the same Rams as last year. They're the same Rams as 2 years ago, which was a very good team. So if you don't have a quarterback, you're probably a pretty bad team, which is what I kind of point out with all these terrible teams. If you got a Stafford back, you're not going to be that bad because he'll get you the points. Todd, hey Professor, won 2 of my 4 teasers. Feel bad for Rodgers out for the year. I don't think he will return. Buffalo bounces back next week. Brady never went 0 for 2, and here is Mahomes 1. No, but New England did have a rough start one year. Rams look solid. Rams, and Cooper Kupp's out, but they have another receiver. As long as Stafford and Donald are there, the Rams are good. They got a great coach, and that's the key, is the coach. But that's what we're seeing. You were racing last year. And now we're building this year. So we got to see what happens. Tampa Bay, 3, 41.5. The Bears are a W. They scored 20, gave up like 34. Over defense, which is what they had last year. Tampa Bay and under, they won 17-16. So as of one game, they're an under. Now, this is a huge leap because we know week one, the teams aren't ready. And we know week 2 and week 3, they're now doing their preseason thing. And off you go. So look at Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't play in the preseason. Don't want to get him hurt. First pass, he gets hurt. And that's my point. You should play him in the preseason. What's the difference if it happened in the preseason or it happened his first pass? Does it fucking really matter? I don't see the difference. So that's why I'm like, you got to play these guys in the preseason. Buffalo, 8.5, 47. That's a good number, 8.5. So Oakland, we look at, we don't think they have a good defense, but they played a low-scoring game. They played Denver 17-16. Now, Denver doesn't really have that strong of an offense. Denver was leading 16-10, kicking field goals with Russell Wilson, a lot of injuries on Denver. So is Oakland's defense really that strong? And that's where we'll see Buffalo off of a loss at home. They'll probably pound Oakland, but we'll see. How did Josh Allen, he threw 3 interceptions. But again, this is against the Jets defense, who's a whole lot better than the Oakland defense. This is why we bet against defenses. One year he went 1-2 and then won the Super Bowl, but never 0-2. Well, there was a year they were like 1-3 or something. There were 2 games behind Miami after 4 games, and it was a lock that I took New England. They had to win. Miami was like 4-0. Oh shit! Glad the pressure's good. Yeah, I've had similar pains lately. As I get older, I keep having these strange pains that I've never had before, and I don't know what to do about it because it's like, what is this pain? What do I do? Where I know when I get my gout, and I got my gout in my knee, and I said to myself, I wonder if I got gout in my back because that's what it hurt like, but I wasn't getting the fever and the throw up. So I'm like, well, it's not a heart attack. So I didn't really know what it was, but I don't know. It could be gout all over the place. But yeah, today I feel fine. So I find that if I'm hurting, I go to the pool and I run and I hot tub and I feel better, even with my gout. So I don't know. It's the biggest cure. I never went to the doctor. I promised Irina, I said, go to the doctor. I'm going to the doctor. And the doctor wasn't open until 9. How much fate was that? So instead of going to the doctor, and she would have put me on antibiotics or whatever, I go to the club and I fix it myself, working out. And I've already done my workout for the day at 7:30. So I never went to the doctor. I went to the grocery store and got some hamburgers, and here I am. So anyway, I'm happy to be here. Todd, Washington at Denver, that's an under. Okay. Buffalo is always good after a loss. Trust you. Next week, they going to blow team out. Well, I think most teams who have any talent are good after a loss. That's what we wait for. So let's look at Alabama this week after a loss, right? You want a team to bet on. After losing to Texas, it's Alabama. Bobby, maybe it's blood flow or muscles related to sleep positioning. My knee pain has been a a lot better since stretching and moving around at the park. Well, I went to bed Sunday fine because I was watching the games and doing this. And then Sunday morning about 6:37, I woke up with this pain in my back. And I just stayed up. That's why I was so tired after going to the bank, going to the grocery store, doing the interview, I was getting tired when I did the class. That's what I think. It's just my bed is terrible. And so a lot of the times when I'm sleeping, I wake up, my foot's hurting, my knee's hurting. So here my back was, but I was just taking a nap on the couch. I was watching our football movie, and it's such a strange movie how they make the handicapper is always a loser, and he can't pick, and he's hot, and then he doesn't know how to pick, and then there's a scene in it that cracks me up. So now he's Earl Anthony, and he's picking, and he's fine, and then later as he goes 0 and 50. But he knows the team so well, but he can't pick because he doesn't have the Teaser Kings mentality of picking games. So then Al Pacino goes, well, are these Brandon's picks? Like, who's the idiot there? Well, Brandon's been picking the whole time. Brandon sucks as a picker. And so now he bet the game because Brandon picked it and not Earl Anthony. And you're like, what the fuck? Anyway, just food for thought. All right. It's probably sleep position because it really tends to be when I wake up, all these little things. And then since I never had it before, I don't know. Yeah, I think the Keys can still make a run and potentially have a winning record, but not sure about a deep run. But then again, the division is not as strong with Mac Jones and Pat. So I assume you're thanking the Jets, not the Keys. I didn't know we had a football team named the Keys, but let's call them the Jets. Well, anytime with the defense, Zach Wilson didn't look bad. They just beat Buffalo. So can they beat Kansas City? With that defense, they can beat anybody. Bobby, I would say Miami, the biggest threat because they can obviously lock down Josh Allen. No, Buffalo beats Miami. Miami doesn't have a defense. So the Jets are good because they have the defense. I still think they win the division. I mean, it's terrible the way and I swear if Aaron Rodgers was playing on grass, he never would have got hurt. That was a total artificial turf injury. He got his foot stuck, got twisted. I don't know what he did, but it was a weird tackle. I think he was trying to twist out of it. Do you only pick against the spread or do you pick winners? I don't know what you're talking about. Of course I picked the spread. I mean, this is all teasers, right? I'm picking 6-point teasers and I pick all winners. So strange question, but yeah, I pick against. So if I gave you the free pick last week was the under in the Houston, Arizona. That was the teaser. Go under Houston, under Arizona with a teaser. That was the free pick. So I'm giving you 2 picks because it's 2 for a teaser. But everything I do is with the teaser spread. That's why I'm giving you the spread. But no, I pick winners, but they're with the teasers. No, I never do money line in football, only baseball. It's a stupid thing to do in football because it's such a bad line. You lay 1,800, but you don't get 1,800 if you take the other team. So I never do money line. Yeah, Miami defeating Buffalo this year in the playoffs. They almost beat them last year with a backup. Professor, any guess who the Jets get for a second quarterback? Well, I would pick up Will Grier if Dallas doesn't want him, but I mean, right now Zach Wilson. We'll see. I mean, go pick up Van Dyke or Hartman or Rising right now. I mean, look at Rising's hurt and Houston's winning, so don't discount Zach Wilson. He learned a lot from Rodgers, from what I hear. So He's been there. He knows. I think they'll win for Rodgers. Miami can score, though. Don't forget about the power of offense in the NFL. You're missing the whole point. We bet defense here. Defense is what wins, not offense. You can look at the Jets did to Buffalo. They held them to 16. Buffalo's got a much better offense than Miami, so I don't follow you there. You only pick money line. You're getting terrible odds. I don't mess with the spread, not very good at it, but I'm decent picking the winning teams. Well, that's what teasers are. Teasers, you take, like, I had the Jets in 8.5 yesterday, so I won when it went to overtime. I won when the Jets went up 16-13, and I had 8.5. So you'll have to learn how to bet with the spread. So keep watching. I'll teach you that. But like here, Philly is 7 over Minnesota. So if we like Philly, I wouldn't money line it. I'd tease it. You get a better odds, and you're laying 1 point, which is basically a money line, but it's 110 if you're betting with the normal bookie. And you got to pick a second game. Well, I pick 10 games a week. That's just pro. I pick another 10 in college. I don't have any problem picking a second team. So from that standpoint, you're basically doing a money line at better odds. The money line's probably minus 200, Philly even. And then you take it with the second team. So let's say you take it with Seattle plus 11.5. What are you going to money line Seattle? And then they would lose by 3? I mean, that doesn't make sense. In football, the teaser's critical because it takes you over 7, and the Seattle game takes you over 10. Philly, it takes you down to 1 under a field goal. So it's critical to play a teaser, not a money line. How do you play a dog? I mean, you got to be kidding me. The Jets, you're going to play the Jets yesterday in a money line? We had it at 8.5, and it was a piece. They were down 13-3 and then tied it. The game, and we knew we won it. I just stick with the close line games. Well, you're missing you're missing the concept. So you got to listen for the concepts. I picked the Jets, Dallas, 49ers, Dolphins, and lost with the Bengals. Yeah, everybody lost with the Bengals. 49ers, you probably had a bad line on. Dallas, you're probably okay on. Miami was the dog. But the money you lost on Cincy, although there wasn't too many big spreads. So this happened this morning. Well, it started last when I woke up yesterday, and then when I tried to go to sleep, it got worse. But because I was in my bed, I probably felt it more. And I said to myself, well, I better go to the doctor, only because you never know when you get a pain in the back. Is it a heart attack or is it a pulled muscle? That's the problem. And I've had like my arm go numb. I go to the doctor. Oh, am I having a heart attack? He says, no. If you're having a heart attack, it doesn't stay. It was a pinched nerve. And I thought, oh, okay. He says, if you're not throwing up and you're not having a fever, you're not having a heart attack. So I remember that. So I knew I wasn't. Then when I went in the pool for a half hour, I didn't have shortness of breath. I'm going, well, if I have a heart attack, then this is something different when but I just went through a 66-hour fast, and I would have been shocked. I lost at least 10 pounds, if not more. I mean, my stomach went from heavy Labor Day where I'm trying on shirts going, what the fuck is wrong with my stomach, to now my stomach's flat. It's just simple. 1 week of heavy fasting and I'm all set. So I was surprised by that. But yeah, it happened. Monday morning it started. I didn't think it was. I still felt it, but then I woke up and it was a little sore, and I said, well, it was really just to check it out. I didn't think it was serious. Like I said, I wasn't throwing up and everything. Yeah, I know before there was no money line gambling like in the 90s and before it was all spread. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. There was always money lines. But I've always done teasers since 1977, and I've got it all figured out. So I have no problem with it. I don't see ever doing money lines. I'm always doing teasers. I meant Jets can lock down Allen. I think he meant, do you pick money lines or sides? Well, I think he's saying, do you play with the points or do you play money lines? He doesn't understand the points. So he's playing money lines probably like he does in baseball. And he's not getting the concept. I can take Philly from 7-1, or I can take Seattle from 5-11. I got it over 10. He doesn't understand that concept. He just looks and says, who's going to win, like baseball. And he's making it really hard because first of all, the money line odds are terrible. It might be minus 300, and then if you want the dog, you're not getting plus 300. But I'm sure in the Miami game he got screwed because his odds were probably not what they should have been as the dog. Anyway, by the way, I forgot to ask memorabilia. Do you own gold and silver? Yeah, that's to get into the club. Bobby does need to ask that question to get membership. All right, so Tampa 3, that was basically Tampa, kind of an under. They played a 17-16 game. Not good offense, fairly good defense. The Bears, no offense and a terrible defense. Buffalo 8.5, 47. I thought we already did this. What are they playing 2 games? So Buffalo is a B team, even though they lost. They looked okay, but they're playing the Jets defense, and they're going to hold the points down. They still played under a fairly good under game at 22. So it was basically 16 at the end of the game. In Oakland, like I said, they played a low-scoring game with Denver, but Denver couldn't take advantage of it. So we'll see. We'll get more indication when Buffalo plays Oakland. Buffalo off. It was perfect. I wanted Buffalo to lose so I could jump on them here against Oakland. So we will see. Kansas City is 3 over Jacksonville. Again, off of a loss. Let's take a look at Kelsey. I would imagine wild horses couldn't keep Kelsey out of this game. KC injury. Kelsey's questionable with the knee. And we'll see. Jacksonville, any injuries? They got a lot of injuries. Although never heard of any of their guys. So Kansas City, we'll wait for Kelsey, but I don't think it matters. But the question is the drop passes, right? They had too many drop passes against the Lions. Kelsey here, they're only laying 3 to Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a very weak. They gave up 21 points to fucking Richardson. Are you kidding me? Now, is Richardson, is he out? I heard he got hurt. I'll have to check the injuries when I get there. But that's kind of weak if Jacksonville's given up 21 to fucking Indy with Richardson. And here comes Mahomes, and he's mad off of a loss. Believe me, their receivers are catching an extra 100 balls a day after all the drops. I don't think you'll see too many drops. I don't see how you're going to stop Mahomes here. You're -3 now. Here, 1777 is where you want the teaser. Instead of playing the game even, you get Kansas City +3, right? And that's a whole different animal. Now that, like against the Lions, you would have laid 3.5, means you got 2.5. In a money line, you lost, but in a teaser, you won. And that's really here you get KC +3. It's a whole different animal. You win a lot more games with teasers. because that 6 points really helps you. And that's where it helps you. So look for KC to be pissed off. Cincinnati, 3.5 to Baltimore, and 46.5. The totals haven't changed. I haven't seen yet. Cincinnati minus 3.5. Now, this is interesting because Baltimore is a very good team, except for they have Lamar. Based on week one, Cincinnati is a W, and Baltimore's an A, but Baltimore played Houston. Cincinnati played Cleveland. So I don't buy the A and I don't buy the W. Cincinnati, we know, is a Super Bowl team. Baltimore, we know, isn't. So Cincinnati in a must-win. Can they just turn it on? They look so bad. I don't think so. This is not where I want revenge with Cincinnati after losing. Buffalo's playing a weak Oakland defense. Casey's got a weak Jacksonville defense, but Cincinnati's got Baltimore, and they could go 0-2. The others, I don't see it, but I'm not going to bet Cincinnati this week because they lost week one. I'll look for a better opportunity, like when they play Jacksonville, or when they play Houston or Indy. Just a bit of gold, like in jewelry, but like nothing else. He got a helmet-to-helmet hit. Oh, good. I can see Jaguars winning with 1 minute left, and Chiefs get ball back trying to win the game. It's a tough game. I'm liking the Monday night games. I think Panthers and Browns win. How long have you been betting 1777? You seem very naive in the professor's eyes. Okay. The Giants 6-39.5 versus Arizona with no quarterback. And the Giants, even though they lost 40-0, I don't see them bouncing back because they lost. I just think Arizona's even a worse team. But we'll see. The Giants really no offense. They just run the ball. This is going to be like an Army-Navy game, Bobby. This is going to be Jones and Barkley running, and Arizona, just trying to stop them. So I got the Giants as a W with the weak defense, and Arizona just as an under. Offense and a good defense, but the good defense is because they played Washington. You got to see who they played. That's why the week ones are skewed. Most of these will probably change by like week 3. Those will be good rankings. These are kind of just week 1 rankings. And in my mind, I'm like, no, Cincinnati's not a W. But what the points are is what I'm going with right now. The Niners, 8-48 to the Rams. Or 8-44. I was going to say I saw 44, changed to 48. Both teams are A. The Niners probably the best team right now, and the Rams beat a good Seattle team, are probably right around there. The game's in LA. The Niners like playing in LA because of the weather, or at least they used to. So we'll see there. It's a pretty close game. Oh my God, I love this. The Dallas is now 9.5. Over under went from 45 to 40. You're going to give me the Giants 9.5 before the teaser? Did they not see Zach Wilson beat Buffalo? Did they not see the defense? See, this is where people don't understand. So Dallas was 3, go to 9.5 because Aaron Rodgers is out, which I understand, but Zach Wilson is not 6 points worse. They beat Buffalo with Zach Wilson. The defense is number 1, number 2 in the league. Dallas is not going to just have a field day. This is where people see their offense. Defense always beats offense. There's no way Dallas laying 9.5. You got to be out of your minds. So as I said, I'm helping one of my customers in this. You pick the games even, but you can only pick the team once. There is no way I would take Dallas here minus 9.5 to win the game. There's no way. I don't think they win the game. I think the Jets defense and Zach Wilson he's a pro quarterback. I hate to break it to you, but he is a pro, and their defense is better than Dallas. I had this score 20-10, and now it's probably more like 17-10. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is out. Let's go 17-10 instead of 20-10. You're going to get, I guarantee you, they picked Josh Allen 3 times. They're going to pick Prescott 3 times at least, and number of blitzes and number of sacks. So if you think Dallas is going to win this game by 20 points, I got some oceanfront property in Detroit for you to buy. This line is so off. My line was Dallas -4. Maybe now without Rodgers, maybe it goes to Dallas -6. There's no way it goes to 9.5. That's a fuck line. Jets in 15.5 might be a lock. Denver 3.5, 39.5 to Washington. An under team in Washington, no quarterback, decent defense. Denver, Russell Wilson, no defense. 2 under teams going at it. This is definitely under Denver, Washington. You're lucky to get points. Miami, New England. This is Miami -2. I got New England -3. 46.5. No defense in this game. The great Bill Belichick, and he doesn't have a defense. Miami, is going to score, and they can't stop the wind, and New England apparently can't stop the wind either. And if Mac Jones is going to throw the ball 50 times like he did against Philly, then there'll be overs all the time. So look for this. See, I don't buy Miami going to New England and winning. It doesn't work like that. All right. New Orleans, -3, 40.5 against Carolina and Bryce Young. So you got Carolina's a W team. No offense and a little bit of defense. New Orleans is an under, 17-16. They won. So they don't score a lot. And they don't, against Tennessee with a good defense, but their defense was good. So I would expect a defensive game here. And Cleveland -2.5, up from 1.5, and 40.5. That hasn't moved. I had Pitt -3 just because they were at home. I got Cleveland winning 21-17. Cleveland's an A team. They beat Cincinnati. Let's not forget that. We can sit there and say, well, Cincinnati lost, boom, 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 boom. But we got to realize Cleveland won, and we got to give Cleveland credit. You beat Joe Burrow, which is not easy to do. Pitt played shit, but they played the Niners. No offense, not much of a defense because Frisco put up 30. Cleveland could put up 30 in this game. So keep that in mind. All right. I think Panthers, 777. Panthers probably won't win a game this year. Neither will. The only reason Indy and Houston are going to win, they play each other. How are the Panthers going to win? They don't have a quarterback. They don't have an offense. Decent defense. Who are they going to beat? Not that long. I don't know. Bobby, getting points with the GOAT Mahomes is free money, especially against Jacksonville. See, Burrow's got Baltimore, so it's not that easy, right? Where Mahomes has Jacksonville, who has no defense. You always look at the defensive teams, and I'm going to go through those in a minute. The best ones so far, or what I can see. And so he's pissed after the loss. Now, they got the Super Bowl ring. So let's say they won. I could see them struggling here. But the one thing you got after a loss is them focusing, and they're the Super Bowl team. And when they focus, look out. And Jacksonville can't stop them. Jacksonville is not the team that's going to stop them here. Interesting. The Jets plus 15 in that teaser, you mean. That's what I'm all about. 1777. I would have went with 1776, but that's me. Understand me with teasers. I've been doing them since 1977. I'm an INFJ. I figured them out. So I know exactly who to bet. A lot of it's based on defense. You're betting defense. You're not betting offense. You're never betting offense. Look at last night. Buffalo had the offense, even if Rodgers played, and the Jets were winning if Rodgers plays. They would have won bigger. But you're never betting an offense to beat a defense. You're always taking the defense. So the Jets were always the play there because they have this great defense. But you got to understand and analyze the team has a good defense. Or they have a terrible offense like Indy, Houston, Carolina, Washington, Arizona. Bobby, Kenny Pickett looks like the worst. Well, he played the Niners, so let's see what he looks like after playing Cleveland. Probably still look like the worst quarterback. It's hard to believe he's the worst quarterback with Richardson and Bryce Young and the other guy in it. But Steelers in general look like trash. Again, they played the Niners. Let's see them against the normal team. They need to play Indy and Houston, and then you can say, "Wow, they look like the best team," because whoever plays them is going to look like the best team. 17. I like the Browns as well. Okay, 17. We don't really care about your picks, but if you do make I like the Browns, then back it up. I like the Browns because, and answer the question, to see if you can add any value to the Teaser Kings, to the professor's class. So think of this as a football class, and I'm the teacher. So if you want to bring something, you have to meet the professor's knowledge on it, which is extremely difficult. So I don't care that you like the Browns. I make the picks, but just, they're a road favorite to the Steelers after a loss. So I don't think you're going to get the same team. So we'll see. This is not the place to play the Browns as a road favorite. Panthers upset Derek Carr. He looked bad in that win versus Titan. Tannehill threw 3 picks. Okay, so you're missing the point. It's more about betting against Derek Carr in prime time, like Saints lose the game they should have won. What is this with you have about prime time? Prime time's meaningless. Every game's on TV. It's the matchup. So you got to look at who they're playing this week. You're confused with what happened last week is not going to happen this week because they're playing different teams at different places. So New Orleans played Tennessee. New Orleans at home is very strong. If they picked the guy 3 times, okay, they picked Tannehill 3 times. But they're not playing Tannehill this week. They're not playing in New Orleans this week. So we got New Orleans at Carolina. So, we could break the game down, but in a minute. That's an interesting one because I can see person killing Wilson and he will throw picks. Zach Wilson or Russell Wilson? But then again, so will Dak against the Jets. So who knows? Yeah, it's a game that can get away from the Jets very easily. Wilson runs with his back to the defense. You guys are really confusing. And that's a no-no for a pro quarter. What do you mean he runs with his back to the defense? He's not running backwards. He's running at the defense. Basically betting on the Jets defense to keep them close with that 15 points. But it's not a game I would mess with. Okay. Bobby, what do we do at 1777? He misses all the concepts. All right, so let's go through this. So Philly has two new coordinators, offense and defense. I don't know why. I guess the others are now coaches somewhere, probably struggling. I don't even know who their names are, where they're coaching. Philly at home. Minnesota is a weak team anyway. No defense. And Kirk Cousins. So Philly, all the Georgia guys are going to have fun sacking them. So we're looking. Here's the top defenses in the league. So you have let's see, Cleveland. Well, this is based on last week. Cleveland, New Orleans, Denver, Washington, Dallas, and the Jets. Arizona, I guess. The Niners, the Rams, Baltimore, but they played Houston. Tampa, okay. Detroit, not really. They gave up 20. Buffalo, not really. Oakland, not really. Tennessee, yes, they have a good defense. Atlanta and Green Bay, no. Philly. So we know the best defense is going to be Dallas, the Jets, San Francisco. So those are our under candidates. So we got Frisco and the Rams, 44. We can go under 50. In 1777, it's always teaser talk. So if Frisco's 44, in my world, it's under 50. Because that's what we're going to play 6-point teasers. So that's a real good one because you've got the Niners. You're not going to score a lot on them. I don't care who they played last week, right? They shut out Pitt. It doesn't matter. They're going to shut out most teams because they got such a strong defense. Brock Purdy looked pretty good. The Rams gave up 13 to Seattle. I got to give them credit. Seattle's got the receivers, the running backs. Seattle's a very good team, so you can't ignore that the Rams beat a very strong offense. We'll see how they play the Lions. We'll see how good. But the Lions, it was 21-20 on a fluke, 10 drop balls by KC, and then some mysterious holding penalty where KC kicks a field goal and wins 23-21. So we'll see what goes on there. So those are your under teams. So your under teams are, let's see, Tennessee, we know. Oakland, we're not sure of. Tampa Bay should be. I'm not sold on Cincinnati just because they had a bad week. Arizona, no quarterback. Indy and Houston. Indy I got as an over, but that's really they got help from Jacksonville, and Houston's a W because they lost 25-9, but they're basically under teams. The Jets are now they're a great under team, right? So you have this great defense, probably right up there with the Niners, because like I said, it's the Niner coach. So you're playing the Niner defense, and you've got and now with Zach Wilson. With Rodgers, they're an A team, right? They're the best team in the league, right up there with Kansas City, Cincinnati. And now with Zach Wilson in for Rodgers, they've turned into a beautiful under team. They won't score that much. You're not going to score on this team. Ain't nobody going to get 20 points on them. Believe me, Buffalo couldn't. Here you got Dallas. There's no way Dak Prescott doesn't throw 3 picks, and there's no way Dallas puts up 20 on the Jets. Washington, no quarterback. Denver is an under just because a lot of injuries. New Orleans is an under team. Carolina is a terrible team. So if we look at that, let's look at the quarterback. So we got mini Philly. We got Cousins against Hunter Hearst Helmsley of the WWE. Green Bay Love against the Riddler for Atlanta. We got Herbert against Tannehill, San Diego, Tennessee. Garoppolo against Josh Allen for Oakland, Buffalo. We got Smith against Goff, Detroit, Seattle. Richardson against Stroud, my favorite. My score on this game is 10-9, and my over is 40. So I'm loving this one. Fields against Mayfields and the Bears in Tampa. Lamar against Burrow. Mahomes against Lawrence. We got Purdy against Stafford. We got Jones against Tune. Is there going to be any points in that game? Now we got to get rid of Rodgers and we bring in Wilson. So sad. Against Prescott. Should be Will Grier. Thurston Howell III against Russell Wilson. Tag against Mac Jones. Carr versus Young. New Orleans Carr. And then Watson against Pickett. Now, Watson, did he look good? I don't know. I saw so many of these quarterbacks running. I didn't know what game I was watching. It's like, what do they got? Fucking rugby on? Is that NFL football? So that's where I was kind of at. Now, I haven't brought in my teaser trends yet. It's too early. And with the day I had yesterday, I really couldn't do that. So right off the bat, we're looking to go against Indy, Houston. It's got to be an under, right? It's 40. Then we go to Arizona with Tune against the Giants. Again, it's a 40. Howell and Wilson, it's another 40, and Carr and Young is a 41. So those 4 games are automatic unders. You don't have quarterback. I mean, without a quarterback, where are you going to score? And when I watched Arizona Washington, I was shocked it was 20-16, but then I saw Thurston Howell fumbled the ball into the end zone for a touchdown on the other team. So it's really 20-9. So it's a 29. That's about what you get. I think as well, the low line in Miami versus Pats could be a trap. Don't bring that stuff into here, please. We don't micromanage the spreads. We analyze the teams. We analyze the game. It's not a trap. So in a teaser, you're basically betting on the teams to keep it close and bend the line. No, I'm not. You don't understand, so just pay attention. At least Richardson and Stroud can run for first downs, but Pickett can't run a can't throw. Shake man, I was thinking, what the fuck can this guy do, right? And he's their best guy. I mean, the other guy is Trubisky or some other fucking idiot. And then you got these guys in college, Caleb Williams and Van Dyke and Hartman that, are much better. So what did we learn in week 1? Not a whole lot. And we didn't think we would because they don't play preseason. So I'm out with my scores. I got Philly 27-14. I got Green Bay 23-20. San Diego 24-17. Buffalo 31-13. Seattle 28-27. Houston 10-9. Tampa 17-14. Cincinnati 24-17. KC 34-27. The Niners 24-10. The Giants 17-0. The Jets 17-10. Denver 20-13. Miami 27-20. New Orleans 17-16. Probably not even that. And then Cleveland 21-17. So I have about 6 or 7 over or unders in there. So hard to bet on the teams, much easier to bet the totals. So I had a very good week. I hit all my big games. Now, what I did, again, I had Georgia with San Francisco under, Georgia under, San Francisco under. I had Iowa State with Notre Dame, then I had Iowa State with the Niners, and I had. So once I get to the locks, I play them in two teasers because it's a lock. Now, I don't just lock to lock. I don't lock randomly. I lock because I see a game that I go, holy fuck, like Indy Houston, right? I'll make it a free play. But Indy Houston is fucking ridiculous. Over under a 40, which turns into 46. They're not going to get 15 points in this game. Where's it going to come from? Richardson or Stroud? Are you kidding me? So it ends up where there's just not going to be a lot. Now does Stroud play, or Richard, whoever got injured, is he playing? So let's go into that game. Let's look at Indy Houston. Let's look at the injuries. Indy's injuries. I never. Jonathan Taylor is recovering from ankle surgery. I didn't know he had ankle surgery. Richardson's questionable with the knee. Now, we really want Richardson to play because we know he sucks. So I thought he got a helmet to helmet. Now he's got a knee. Houston. Dare Uglia Buglia is on Houston. They got an Uglia Buglia too. Well, I don't see CJ Stroud out. So if CJ Stroud doesn't go, is that who's injured? Or no, it's Richardson. So Richardson's questionable with the knee. So if he doesn't go, Indy's backup is going to be Gardner Minshew. See, he's a much better, he should be the one starting. So we'll have to keep an eye on it as far as the free play. But the free play is based on Richardson against Stroud, two high school quarterbacks that have no business in the NFL anyway. Not sure what they're doing in it and why the fuck they're starting. All right, so let's hold off on the free play till we know it's Richardson playing or not. Because Minshew's much better. Not that they'll score a ton of points, but. And that's what we look at. So the Giants, Arizona, probably under. Washington, Denver, probably under. New Orleans, Carolina, for sure under. Those three, and then the Indy Houston 4, and Baltimore, Cincy might be an under, as bad as Joe Burrow looked. Do we expect him to hit the switch and all of a sudden puts up a 35 on Baltimore? I don't think so. We know Lamar won't do shit. Seattle, Detroit, probably an over. Buffalo should kill Oakland. KC, Jacksonville, I'm looking over. San Diego, Tennessee. I wanted San Diego as the dog. They fucking made them the favorite. It'll be a close game because every San Diego game's close. Tannehill. But I did see Derrick Henry. I didn't think Derrick Henry was playing. And I'm watching the highlights. There's Derrick Henry and Tannehill still on Tennessee. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So Tennessee still very good defense, and they're an under team. 45 here. They won't score a lot, but you're not going to score a lot on them. I like Vrabel for that. And then mini Philly, I think we start with Philly against Kirk Cousins. Now I got to figure out, I think I got to go with Buffalo as the team that is even for this pool for this guy. But I think the best spread, there's no way I'm not taking Dallas over there's no way I'm taking Dallas even to beat the Jets. So that leaves me with probably either Philly or Buffalo, and I think Buffalo's the play. Philly will go against Washington, and then whoever keeps playing Houston and Indy and Washington and Arizona are going to be the that's how I'm going to win this guy $1 million. Is we're just going to look at the Z team, and as they play different teams, those all be the teams that we're going to bet in this pool. So that is pro. Now I start to look at injuries. I'll do my teaser trends. Teams that are off of a loss: Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Buffalo. I'm much more with Kansas City and Buffalo. Cincinnati didn't show me a lot, and they got to play Baltimore. So I'm not. You want to play this on a weak team: Buffalo, Oakland, Kansas City, Jacksonville. You can play it on, but I'm not sure. I'm sure Buffalo beats Oakland. I'm not really sure Kansas City beats Jacksonville. It'll be high scoring, and I'm not sure Cincinnati beats Baltimore. So you almost hope Cincinnati loses. Now they're 0-2. Now you hammer them the next week, but they'll play a much better team. 77. Yep, I agree. I think Myles Garrett going to cause him problems. They got an injury to their D line as well. I think Chubb going to have a good day. Okay. Is this another underweek, Professor? No. Most of the games are. I think the Lions go over. I think Kansas City goes over. Philly, Minnesota might be an over. Green Bay, Atlanta should be an over. But all the new quarterbacks are all under, right? Washington, Denver, and Arizona, the Indy Houston game. So just look for the new quarterbacks, Richardson and Stroud and Young and under. They'll be lucky to get 5 first downs. And most of them are running. They just run. They're not quarterbacks. They go back and scramble around and gain 5 yards. And I'm like, what the fuck football am I watching here? But they can't score touchdowns because when they get in the red zone, there's nowhere to run. So they're fucked. This is another, the real D. What the hell are you saying here? San Diego don't got no offense. What are you, like 5? What do you mean don't got no offense? They've got a great offense. They don't have a defense, but they got a great offense. 77. Problem with Titans is Tannehill. Just can't trust them. Whatever. Chargers should win that game. Okay, we don't care. Don't put money on Bungles yet. This is okay. What do you think of that, KC? Yeah, that's what I said, Bobby. Go ahead, take that. Bengals own the Ravens, some odd reason, because of Joe Burrow. 77. I agree the new quarterbacks are not good. They're not even pros. And the future of the quarterback position is questionable. The college quarterbacks are the same shit. No, not this year. I'm taking San Diego College Prof. Sorry. I don't know what that means. Why would you talk San Diego College? We're talking pros. Yes, they are a defensive team, but where's that coming from? We're talking NFL right now. When we get to college, you can bring that up. I already know that, but we're not. Right now, we're talking NFL San Diego. They got a great offense and no defense. So 1777, you're bringing in a lot of stuff that's not relevant. You'll learn, but I'm the teacher here, and I'll explain what we're doing and why. You just kind of take notes. Okay, we understand. They're not a 3-5. They're a good offensive team. The Jets are better because they have the good defense. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Bobby, do I got to give him the rock bottom? Is that what I got to do? Do you believe when I showed you the Mr. Perfect video, they actually, again, the Russians and the people there blocked my video, but not here. Only like in Russia, they must have something with the WWE. It's hysterical. Okay, let's go to college week 3. We got Memphis 14.5, 47.5 over the Navy. Navy's not showing much yet. And Army showed a lot. They put up 60 points with a different quarterback. Well, the quarterback started week 1 through 3 picks. They pulled him. Last week, he looked much better, again, with the new offensive coordinator getting the new look. So we'll see how Army looks. They got UTSA. UTSA's look bad because Rice lit up Houston and UTSA couldn't. So this is very curious. Maryland 14.5, up from 13.5. And 49.5. Virginia is terrible. I have them as a W. UTSA 9.5, 45.5, 10. UTS is playing very low scoring games. Army, I don't know if they start scoring or not. Again, they played a high school team and put up 60. We got the Air Force. We got the Army, Navy, and Air Force right off the top. Air Force laying 9.5, 46.5 against Utah State. That one they should. I got Air Force as an A team and Utah State as an over defense. So I like the Air Force there. The new quarterback's doing a lot of running, not passing, so we'll see. They're starting this shit again. Wisconsin 19.5, 63.5. The Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's playing really well so far, but now they go to Wisconsin, who's okay. This will be an interesting matchup for Wisconsin. Florida State, 26.5 and 49.5. Wow, that one went from 54 to 49.5 against BC. Florida State's going to murder BC. BC's terrible. Florida State played well. They were a little flat early, came out in the second half and really put up a big number on Southern Miss. So I think now Florida State, they're going to murder BC here. 26.5. Thank you. Wake Forest is 13.5. They were 14. All right, we'll leave it. And 61.5 up from 60. No big deal. Wake's a good team. Old D went from a nothing to an over. So it's too early to really say Old D's an over team or not. And I got to study the quarterbacks a little bit more to really see what's what here. I like to look at the touchdowns, interceptions. So I pull the data, and then it's a matter of going, okay, who's the new Hartman, the new Rising. Rising probably won't play this week. They got a high school team, so I don't see him playing that one. Liberty 3.5, 55.5 to Buffalo. They did play a decent game against Wisconsin. They're a home dog. The Liberty, Buffalo could get the W here. Indy, Louisville 10.5, 53.5. Indiana's terrible, but is their defense that good to hold Ohio State, or Ohio State sucks on offense? That's really the question. Louisville came back against Georgia Tech and got the win, laying 4 at home. They should pound Indy. Iowa State 3 and 44.5. And Iowa State, should be a low-scoring game. Penn State 14.5. Where are you, Penn State? 14.5, 48.5, down from 50. I like the game over. Penn State seems like they're an A team. They scored a lot. Illinois, their defense is gone. Kansas lit them up. So 48, for 42. I would think you're going to get there, but we will see. Illinois doesn't really is not the strong offense that I'm looking for in an over. K-State 4.5, 49.5. To where the fuck are they? K-State. Okay. 4.5, 49.5, up from 46 to Missouri. I got Missouri as a B team, and Kansas State is an A team. Kansas State, I think, is an A team. They were an A team last. I don't know what Missouri is. See, again, the problem in college is they'll play these real weak teams, and they put up, and now it's 45-7. You go, oh, they're an A team, but they're not. I mean, you can't really call them an A team against that level of competition. So this is where I'm not really. I like K-State minus 4.5. I think should win, but I got to check out Missouri's quarterback. Bobby's team minus 9.5, 53.5 against Old Mississippi State. LSU I have as an over team. They certainly. I hate the quarterback, and then Old Mississippi State played Arizona to really a 24 all, and then they won 31-24 in overtime. So keeping Arizona to 24 is good because they got a real strong offense. Getting the 24 was kind of weak because Arizona doesn't have a good defense. And here comes LSU with Bobby Bowe at quarterback. 53 is 47. That's I can't believe we're not going to get there in this game. All right, 77. Well, it's a class 77, but that's okay. You'll learn. Hardman is really good quarterback. It's Hartman, and he's top 3. He's better than Caleb Williams. There's Van Dyke, there's Rising, there's Hartman, there's Jefferson, the kid at Tulane when he's healthy. Those are really your best quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, Penix is good. Bo Nix I would be fine with. I mean, they're all better than these idiots in the NFL. Richardson and CJ Stroud and Fields are not even close to these guys. Tennessee at Florida. Good luck with that one. Yeah, Mark McGuire never lets comments go through. He's got some sort of complex or something. Well, he doesn't do it live. I'm doing this live. That's why you can comment. That's why I do it live, because I don't want to look at comments after the show and this says good show. It's really a class, good class. I disagree here or there. There's nothing I can do about it. It's after the class is over. And I don't really want to waste time seeing good class, good picks, or negative comments. So that's why I don't want comments. I just assume you make the comments here. But you can comment. Well, you can block comments. So when you do it, you say comments off. Like mine, comments are off. I do that. I put that in. But on my homepage on my Teaserking, it does show you 8 or 9 real positive comments. And it's funny is some guy will say, "Oh, you made me $30,000. I've been with you for 5 years, and he's never bought from me. I don't know who he is." So I don't know everybody who's watching, but they're all making a lot of money, and I'm like, okay. One guy I get tips. I don't even know who these people are. Here's $200. Who are you? And I don't know, but they're watching and they're going, "Yep, this is good." They've been with me for 5 years, and I don't even know who they are. But I'm not bitching. That's why I do it. So LSU 9.5 over Old Mississippi State. I don't know, but 53.5 seems like a pretty low number. 47.5. I think that's an over. Mississippi State's an over team. UMass and EMU. Our UMass, EMU 9.5, 52.5 to UMass, our villain. I don't know. I'm like just leaving UMass now. That one quarterback, Papadopoulos, he's questionable. So I don't know. But UMass, see, they're not the Z team, so you've got to ignore them. You got to find the Z team. So let me quickly go through. Well, Virginia's a W. East Carolina's a Z team, but again, they played Michigan and got killed. Western Michigan's a W. I thought okay, Nebraska's a Z team. Absolutely no offense. Colorado State's a W. Nevada's a Z team. So there's not as many Z teams yet. We'll see as we go. That's the ones we really want to bet against. But this is going to be fun. Colorado State. Colorado State's a W. They score like 20, give up 50. Prime time's going to really light them up this week. So this should be a very good one for Colorado. But then next week they got Oregon at Oregon, USC at home, and that's the end of prime time. Say goodbye to prime time after this week. Notre Dame 34.5, 54.5 to Central. Central, I've looked, they're an over team, probably a high school team and something else. If they are really an over team, then you got to love the over in this game. Hartman will be good for. He had 4 touchdowns last week against a good North Carolina State defense. I look for at least a 50-point game for Notre Dame at home. They got the band, they got the cheerleaders, they got Rudy there. Joe Montana will be playing. Look for Notre Dame to put up 50 by themselves, and it's 55. All you got to do, go over 49. This is a case where I think they get it by themselves. Central maybe puts up 10. About all I could count on. It's a big number, but this is where we got the out of the over-unders. The over-unders is the out. So got to like that. UConn 8.5, 42.5 against Florida International. Florida International I have as something. I think they're an even team, kind of a weak defense, and UConn doesn't score much. Florida International I like is the dog here. Here you go, Bobby. Alabama 31.5, 61 to South Florida. South Florida is an over team with a bad defense. Look for Alabama. This is a case where off of a loss, this is the one team, and they're playing a team with no defense. So this is going to be no mercy. This is going to be 60 points at least for Alabama. You can either go Alabama minus 29 or 25, or you go over. You take your choice. Probably over because they're just going to keep scoring. And I don't know if South Florida will get maybe 10 points, but Alabama's going to destroy them. Off of a loss, and Alabama's going to have 4 losses. They got LSU. They've got Texas A&M. They're too scared to play Georgia. They play Tennessee. That's another loss. So Alabama is now. I think we won't see them in the playoffs anymore. Alabama, their time has come, and their time is gone. Nick Saban cannot adapt to this offense. If you notice, he's changed his offense to update it with all the passing, but he doesn't realize it's screwing up his defense. And he hasn't changed his defense to defend against the pass. That's why Tennessee beat him 50-49 or 52-49. I just watched that game and enjoyed it. And then yesterday I was watching the Florida State Auburn championship game, and fuck, how did I win it? With like 10 seconds left, I win the game. It was beautiful, but yeah, a lot of scoring at the end. But Auburn stopped doing their plays, and then Florida State kind of started to figure it out. Well, Florida State should have killed them. They killed everybody. But anyway, that was a good game to watch. App State 9.5, 50.5 to East Carr. East Carr's a Z team, so you got to like App State here. I think they beat or went to overtime with North Carolina last week. They're much the better team here. They're at home, so they should pound East Carr. North Carr against Minnesota. North Carr 7.5, 49.5. You got to like the under in Minnesota games. I don't care who they're. Like I said, the under can beat the over. I don't think Minnesota wins the game. They have no offense, but North Carolina is not going to light it up here against this Minnesota defense. There put a lot of pressure on them. Dookie 18, 48.5 against Northwestern. I love Duke in this game. 18. They beat Clemson by what? 20-something? Northwestern can't score. I mean, this is going to, and it's at Duke. This 18 down to 12. Holy fuck. Yeah, it's like you like LSU to whip Mississippi State. No, I don't. Mississippi State's a very good team. I do like it over. That's the difference. I can't trust the quarterback. How can you trust LSU's quarterback? Way too many turnovers, and Mississippi State's got Will Rogers, good quarterback. They're playing good defense. I took them over last week with Arizona. They hold them to 24. They're a good offense, Arizona. So I think this game's close, and but it should be high scoring. Tennessee, no, not yet. Iowa 28.5, 42.5. Against Western. Western's a W team with an over defense. Iowa, I don't know if they can score 28 points or 22 in our case, but we know Iowa is good for an under. San Diego State, Oregon State. Oregon State 24.5, 48.5. There's some other games should be under. San Diego State plays low-scoring games. Oregon State, I highly doubt Uglia Booglia is going to light up San Diego State like he did the first week. They got a good defense. And they just played UCLA. UCLA switched quarterback to the freshman, and they did good. So I think Oregon, I don't know if they're going to cover 24 with Uglia Booglia. Over under 48. Oregon State does have a good defense. I don't think there's a lot of points here. My Georgia team, 27, 54.5 against South Carr. South Carr got killed by North Carr. Rattler, Georgia's Georgia. What can I say? I mean, how many first downs will South Carolina score? Rattler will get sacked 10 times, 3 interceptions, and Georgia just runs it down your throat. Georgia's still nursing the new quarterback, so I think Georgia, can they handle 21? Probably. They probably win by 21. They probably shut out South Carolina because that's what Georgia does. Oklahoma and Tulsa. Oklahoma 27.5, 16.5. Now this is confusing because Oklahoma blew out Ark State, then play SMU to a 28-11 game. You don't know what the fuck. So now it kind of looks like they have that really good defense that we talked about. Tulsa's an even team. So that Oklahoma should score. They should shut down Tulsa. And with Gabriel, they should be able to score. So I actually think Oklahoma is the play here. Lane 22. I don't know what to do over under because I don't know if Oklahoma is going to put up 60 or they're going to put up 40 and Tulsa gets shut out. I do feel Tulsa is going to have trouble getting 10 points, so I can't go over in the game. Western Kentucky and Ohio State. Ohio State 27.5, 64.5. Western Kentucky is a very good team. They're an A team in their conference. Ohio State I'm worrying about. They got Notre Dame coming up soon. They ain't going to win that game. So Ohio State, kind of a B team. The defense has been playing well. Their offense sucks. The new quarterback looks terrible. Western Kentucky, it's an A team, very good defense. I think Western Kentucky can hang in this game. Gotten 33 points. They only got 28 on Indiana. I think this is an under. 64 is. Everybody thinks Western Kentucky's still that over team they used to be. They're not. They're an A team now. And they have a good defense. So I think this is a low-scoring 64 go under 70. I don't see how it gets anywhere near that. Not now. Here's your favorite, Bobby. Texas A&M 36.5 over UL Monroe. Where did it go? Where did that game go? I know I wrote it on here. There it is. 36-52. It hasn't moved. A&M's an over team. Van Dyke shredded to pieces. Lou Monroe won't do anything. At A&M, off of a loss, just like Alabama. You can probably lay 30 because they seem to be a better offensive team with Bobby Petrino. I'm not sure what their defense looks like. Not the same. But it's hard to judge. You can't look at Van Dyke and go, oh, they can't stop anybody. Nobody can stop Van Dyke. Lou Monroe under. Now, so A&M pissed off that they off of a loss. 36. Over 52. It's a tough one because it's a big number, but A&M off a loss. Maybe they lay 30 to Lou Monroe, but Lou Monroe is not a Z team. They're just an under team, so they do have somewhat of a defense. So I think it's a little bit much, but you do have A&M off the loss. Still hard to take Duke serious in football. I've been betting a lot of money on Duke over the years and making a fortune because they're always under spread. You're betting on Riley Leonard, a really good quarterback and a really good defense and a nice coach. I don't know what the problem is, Bobby. You want to make money, absolutely bet on Duke. Over Northwestern? You're going to take Northwestern that game? All right, Washington, 16.5, 57.5 to Michigan State. I guess the coach got into a sex scandal for Michigan State. He's replaced. Not that he was a good coach to start with. I would think Washington rolls Michigan State. I don't know how good Michigan State is. Washington, we know, can light it up, and I don't think they'll have a problem here. At 16, I got to do is win by 10. How are you going to stop this offense? So, and Washington's got a pretty good defense. I mean, they beat Boise, and then they beat another good team last week. So, I think Washington by 10's easy. All right, Georgia State, 754.5 against Charlotte. Georgia State's a B team. Both teams have good defenses. Charlotte doesn't have a good offense. So you got an under team in Charlotte playing a Georgia State team, which has a good defense. I would say this is an over under 55. Georgia State is the better team. They're laying 7 at Charlotte. I don't know if they get the win, but probably an under game there. Oklahoma State is, where the hell are they? 7.5 to South Alabama, 48.5. Oak State's terrible this year. Decent defense. South Alabama is an over team. Their defense sucks. So I think Oak State wins by 1, but they're so bad. I think it's an under 49 under. Yeah, it's just they're better talent. So I think they can stop South Alabama, but they don't have much offense. San Jose State, Toledo. Toledo 8.5, 58.5. San Jose State's an over team, but they played USC and they played Oregon State. So of course they gave up a lot to those teams. Now they've got Toledo, who's a pretty good offensive team with a pretty good defense. Toledo, I think this game gets over 58. You got good quarterback Corbero for San Jose State. Toledo, 30-28. I think that was to Illinois. Now we saw Kansas light up Illinois, so now we don't know if Illinois has got a good defense or not. But we know Toledo put up a 28 on them, so I think this gets over 52 pretty easily. Bobby's game, Tennessee, Florida. Tennessee 6.5, 58.5. We got Tennessee an A team, Florida B team. We know Florida lost and got killed by Utah. They don't have a quarterback. Both teams have a good defense. We know Florida probably does. Tennessee, surprising they do. They didn't look so good last week offensively, Tennessee. The game's at Florida, Tennessee laying 7. So the problem is Florida's quarterback sucks, right? So we have to see. I don't know. I mean, Milton's okay from Michigan, the quarterback at Tennessee. Florida doesn't have one. So I don't know. This to me would be an over game. I just think Tennessee can score. Florida can score 51. I think you got to go that route. I don't know how I guess you pick Florida as a home dog, but I'm staying away from it. Miami and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been scoring. Where is it? Hate when they change the times because you got this game early, you write it in the box, and then they change the time on you. And then you're looking like, where did it go? Here it is. Yeah, right above Tennessee, Florida, of course. Cincinnati, 14.5, 46.5. I like Cincinnati here. I think they're the better team. Miami of Ohio is a W team, so they don't score a lot. Weak defense. So Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh last week. Should light it up. They probably went from a defensive team to an offensive team. This coach is an offensive coach, so I see that. North Texas and L Tech. L Tech 5.5, 67.5, up from 4.5. So the sharps are betting L Tech. 5 man. They're both over teams. North Texas has been going over. Their defense is terrible. L Tech. So it's over 68. I can't play this garbage over 68. So maybe you take North Texas and 11.5, but this is too much risk for me here. James Madison and Troy. Troy, 2.5. There it is. Troy, 2.5 and 47.5, down from 50. I like James Madison. They're the A team. Troy's an over team. So the defense goes to James Madison, should shut down Troy a little bit. And James Madison's got a good offense. So based on that, based on an A team, I think James Madison's a live dog here. Northern Illinois, Nebraska. This is like the other game. Why is Nebraska laying 10.5? Unbelievable. 43.5. Down from 46. I mean, I like Northern Illinois in 17 all day here. Where does Northwestern get 17 points? Or Nebraska? I mean, what am I missing? They were the favorite for 5 minutes last week. Like, they're good. Matt Rule's not a good coach. They don't have an offense. They don't really have a defense. Northern Illinois is the better team here. Good defense. They can score. Now, I got Nebraska as a Z team laying 11. The Z teams don't lay 11. So I like Northern Illinois here. All day. Getting 17 points? You got to be kidding me. Vandy against UNLV. Vandy 4.5, 59.5. This spread went up from 56 to 59.5. Vandy's the over team, played Hawaii, gave up 28 to them. UNLV, a weak defense, pretty good offense, but then last week they played, would they play USC or somebody? So it skews. That's the problem. You almost need one of these in conference to really get a focus, but I'm quick enough to figure that out. UAB, Lou Lafayette, 2.5, 59.5. Oh no, I was doing UNLV Vandy. Vandy 4.5, 59. I like the game over. Vandy will score. Neither team's got a defense. Vegas can score in Vegas. So definitely like the over. Lou Lafayette, UAB 2.5, 59.5, up from 58. And they're both over teams, and they're both pretty good. So this over I like. Good, confident offense and quarterbacks. Yeah, UL Monroe, one of the worst teams. I think that game against Army might be the worst offensive. Well, Army was just learning the offense, and the kid threw 3 interceptions, but then he had a big game last week. So this would be a good game to watch Army against UTSA to see if they figured out the offense yet. But anytime you change these coaches, you're gonna struggle getting it. Michigan 40.5, 52.5. Wow, it went from 51 to 52. Thank you, God. Bowling Green is a B team, good defense. Michigan, A team, good defense. 52, we go under 58. Seems like another bet on Michigan. They'll win 35-7 again. Very little drama with Michigan. It's going to be an under, and going into the fourth quarter will be like 24-0, and you're like, yeah, I can get to 50. I can go to 58. I think it's a W. Georgia Tech, Old Miss. Old Miss 19.5, 63.5. I love this game over. Georgia Tech has become an over team. They can score. They don't have a defense. They played Louisville to like a 39-35 game. Old Miss can score. I'm not sure they're an under team, but they beat Tulane, but Tulane's quarterback didn't play. That was another one where you don't know he's not playing. And then my guy who we were going to bet Tulane says, I saw the quarterback's out. Do you still want me to play him? And I moved him to Arizona. So this is a very attractive over game. 63, 57. Not a problem. Pitt 1.5. Where the hell am I? Okay. Pitt 1.5, 50.5 to West Virginia. West Virginia looked terrible against Penn State, but now they're at home and they're playing Pitt. Rivalry game. Like they don't have enough problems with the Big 12. They got to start playing Pitt and Penn State. Pitt's a road favorite, 1.5, 50. Pitt with a good defense. West Virginia with a lousy defense. This is a real tough game to play. I can't trust West Virginia's quarterback's terrible. Pitt doesn't have it. Probably an under game. Probably a low-scoring game, I would think. Akron and Kentucky. Kentucky, 25, 49.5. Akron's an under team. Kentucky is an A team. I would have to say this would be an under. I don't think Akron will score in this game. Syracuse, 2.5, 59.5. Up from 58. The Sharps are betting this game over. Syracuse, an A team, very strong offensively and defensively so far against nobody. Purdue's been a good over team. Played Fresno State good. Over under 59. I love this game over. This is a joke over. I don't think Syracuse is an A team, and I don't think their defense, they just haven't played anybody. So you got to look at the whole scheme. Here you go, Bobby. Arkansas, 8.5, 47.5. Well, that came down from 10. We're getting the line changes to help us today. Michigan going up, Arkansas coming down. 8.5, 47.5. Jefferson. I like Arkansas at home. I can't imagine they don't beat BYU. 47.5. BYU's got a good defense, but they don't have much offense. So I got to study the quarterbacks, but right now it's I got to go with Jefferson only laying 2.5 at home to BYU. New Mexico State. Our favorite team, New Mexico State. Game's even and 53.5 up from 51. New Mexico is an over this year, and New Mexico State's an over this year. I think you can go over 53. I think Pavia, no matter what, he's either going to throw these interceptions or touchdowns. Good quarterback. He's an over quarterback for us. You need 47. I think this is go over with it. I was hoping New Mexico would be favored, but at even, even kills the teaser because you only get 6. You need to get over that 7. Clemson, 24-52 to Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic's an under team. Clemson's an A team, I guess. Terrible quarterback. Good. I don't even know if they have good defense because Duke lit them up pretty good. At Clemson, I think it's under 52. I think they shut out Florida Atlantic here. Wyoming and Texas. How flat are they going to be? If I can find them. Okay. 28.5, 48.5. Texas has got to be flatter than shit after beating Alabama. Very interesting here. And they've got Wyoming, who beat Texas Tech. Let's not forget. I think Texas is a little flat and then turns it on in the second half. I think Wyoming can score on them if they scored on Texas Tech. I like this game over at 48. I think Texas puts up 40. Wyoming probably gets another 20, and we only got to go 42. Big mistake here. I mean, Alabama with a bad quarterback, and it was, 34-24. That game to get to 58 was shocking. This game to get to 58 is not. Hawaii goes to Oregon, 37-67. Hawaii's been scoring, should score on Oregon. No defense. Oregon, an A team, but at home plays fast-paced basketball. Over 67. You're going to get 20 points from Hawaii. You're going to get 50 from Oregon. So I can see this getting over. TCU Houston, very interesting game. As we try to figure out TCU 7.5, 63.5. Not as good as last year's brand, although their quarterback is really back from last year. Houston, they hold UTSA 17-14. They give up 43 to Rice. I need help. What do you make out of that? It's crazy. So what's the expected outcome, as I like to say? I have no idea. I don't think I can play TCU -1. Is it an over? Well, TCU plays high-scoring games. They got a good coach. Houston normally plays high-scoring game, played a high-scoring game with Rice. So then it goes to, does UTSA have this incredible defense holding Houston to 17 points and having trouble with their quarterback? This is where you get into a quandary. So I think it goes over because I think the real TCU is a high-scoring game, and the real Houston's more of a high-scoring team, 57. But right now they're just, I don't know. They played Rice to an 80. What do you make out of that? I don't know. All right, prime time, 22.5, 59 against Colorado State. Colorado State's a W. This is all prime time here. Look for a big number here because he's got a defense. He's got a team with no defense. So therefore, they're not going to, like Nebraska, not that they had a great defense, but they blitzed him a lot. They were giving him trouble. Then he finally pulled away. Here, they're not going to get any trouble from Colorado State. They don't have a defense. Look for them to put up a big number. He's trying to put up a big number, so look for that. They know they got Oregon and USC coming up. They're fucked. So they got to get this win. So look for Colorado big. Arizona State, Fresno State. Fresno State 3-point favorites, 50.5. Arizona State's quarterback's out Pine, the guy from Notre Dame. They've not been scoring. Fresno State lit up and won at Purdue. I don't like Fresno State as the road favorite to Arizona State, but over under a 50, you can't really go there because Arizona State doesn't have an offense. So I think I love if Fresno State was the dog, but they're not. So it's a real hard game to try to get a bearing on. Kansas and Nevada. We love Kansas. 27-59. Take Kansas. They'll put up 60 points here. Nevada's a Z team, so we're betting against the Z. See, this is what you do. We found out Nevada's the Z team. So we don't go preordain UMass is a Z, Connecticut's a Z. They're not. They're a little different this year. So you go and you find who's the Z team, which is Nevada. So now we can make this bet based on they are a Z team so far this year. And that's what you really do. That's how you really figure it out. That's the point of it, right? You don't. That's why we're successful. That's why I win a lot of games every year, because I'm not betting against Z teams from last year. I am now, okay, who's the Z team this year? It's the same concept. I'm going to bet against the Z team, but they change. The over teams change, the A teams change, all the coaching changes, all the transfer portals. So that's basically what you have here is this new Z team, which is called Nevada. Kansas State's explosive. Or Kansas, look for them to win big. And last but not 17.5, 56. to UTEP. UTEP is a low-scoring game. Arizona is a high-scoring team. They're at home, 17. You lay 11. I think you can play Arizona here. They do have a decent defense. They came back against Old Mississippi State, but they're now off of a loss. So I think you look at Arizona to win here. So what are our criticals? Well, we know off of a loss, we have Alabama. We have, well, LSU kind of got back. We've got Texas going to be flat after the Alabama win. Oregon, Colorado won. Kansas won. So there's not a lot off of a loss. Iowa State's off of a loss. That's it. We got to be careful. Memphis and Navy. What are we getting from Navy? What are we getting from Army? What are we getting from Air Force? Utah State can score, no defense. Should be an interesting game with the Air Force. Army, UTSA, they're like, it's probably an under. UTSA seems to be playing low-scoring games. Harris seems to be a little bit, maybe they changed offensive coordinators, and Utah State is an over team. We know Air Force has a strong defense. So it's a real hard game to call these first few games. But that's what we're looking for. Pros are much easier this week. I'll start going through it. I can see at least 3 or 4 locks in the pros, and I can see a couple of locks in college going through this. This is like my first real time going through it. I put in the lines, and then I graded the team. So like James Madison's an A team. So I go through and I put that in, and then I say whether defense is an under. So I'm looking for like Lou Lafayette, UAB are both over teams. Probably want to take the over in the game. Then I got Akron and Kentucky are both under teams, so I probably want to play the under there. So that's why I label it. Are they over or under? So TCU, Houston are both over teams. I probably want to go over in the game, 63 down to 57. So that's the intent of what I'm doing. So I'm marking the defenses, and I don't want to fuck with good defense. I want to play them under, or if they have good offense, then play the team. If they're a dog, Alabama, South Florida has no defense. So now I'm like, okay, off of a loss, they're pissed off. And then it's, do I lay 25 or do I just go over in the fact that they're just gonna keep scoring? I mean, they're gonna get up and it's gonna be boom, boom, boom. Punt return and pick sixes are gonna be here. So I'll look for Alabama to really kill them. So that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for your over teams. You're looking for your under teams. Live dogs, the Arkansas BYU game, it's only 8.5. Let's look at BYU. Is it worth taking Arkansas there? So the guy 77-77, I didn't really get his whole point about not playing teasers, playing money lines. How the fuck do you play a money line? Michigan 40 over Bowling Green. You can play the money line? See, this is like he's obviously a Bitcoin guy, Bobby. He doesn't get this. I'm sure he's clueless about gold. And this is what you're dealing with. It's not a show, it's a class. And he puts these comments in that are really just don't add any value to our class. So I didn't block him. He just left when he heard college, which was usually the easier of the two. But that's okay. So I'm going to study these. Today's Tuesday. I need a nap because I didn't really sleep a lot and I'm getting tired. What's it, 3:15? Okay. I don't know if I'll eat dinner. I might have a little. I bought a cantaloupe. I got a bunch of avocados. I think I have a little chicken left. We can do economics today if you have any questions. I haven't really looked at it. I haven't seen Alligator Egon in a while. Egon's on his Gold Switzerland channel, but I haven't seen it. I've watched some older Egon, but it's all the same. He knows that they're printing the money to zero, and gold's going to go up. So it's the same in each episode. Notre Dame's going to win the game. So how many times do I got to tell you that Notre Dame's going to win the game? And that's what he's doing. How many times do I got to say? I ran out of avocados yesterday, and I went and bought a bunch, but they were all so hard I couldn't eat them. I did have one today, I think. Gareth Soloway says gold should be over 3,000 minimum by next year. And who is Gareth Soloway? I mean, see, don't waste your time with Gareth Soloway. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a pro trader. I've seen his YouTubes. If he was a pro bowler or a pro wrestler, I would listen to him. Do you talk to this guy? I mean, do you go into the gold store? Is he there? What kind of stupid comment is 3,000 by next year? It should be about 10,000 by the end of this year. But you really can't. The Titanic's taking in water, okay? So you know the water's in the ship, and you know the dollar's losing value. But you don't know is when the ship's going to sink. So to say 3,000 by next year, guy sounds like an idiot. I mean, my thing of 50,000 is conservative, and it'll be much higher than that. We're waiting for BRICS. We're waiting for the new currency. We're waiting for the dollar collapse. We're waiting for people to realize the dollar's collapsed, get the fuck out of the dollar, and then everybody will run into gold. But gold is not a safe haven when the dollar collapses. Gold is an asset. If J.P. Morgan wasn't keeping the price down, it would be at least $20,000 to $30,000 an ounce. People would buy it as a asset. So you're looking around. Well, how do you think the Montana rookie card got to 100,000? Would you rather have that or gold? I mean, that's where gold should be. Is about 100,000. That's why I tell you to buy it, because it's a steal at 2,000. But yeah, he's missing at least 1 0. I might have meant silver at $3,000. Oh, well, that makes more sense. Well, silver should go to 10 to 1 to gold. So gold goes to $5,000. Silver should go to gold goes to 50 grand. Silver should go to 5. You got to understand, there's all these people who are blind to what it is, and are blind. Well, what do you read? Oh, the inflation's back down to 2%. We're not going to have a recession. What a bunch of crap that is. What are you talking about? We've been in a recession for a year. You can't sell a car. You can't sell a house. What the fuck do you think it is? Go to the grocery store and try to buy Lucky Charms at $5 a box. What do you think is going on here? So if you don't read the bullshit and you just go and watch, you see what's happening. So that's really, I mean, that's the whole point of it. The inflation's huge. It is not 2 or 3%, and it's not going to be a soft landing. It's going to be a hard landing. But they measure things by unemployment or employment, whatever it's all Keynesian. And so what you got to realize is, it's like 77 predicting football. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has no clue. He does money lines. How do you do money lines when there's teasers? Why do I do teasers? Because they're so easy to win. It's a joke. Why do I do over-unders? Because they're so easy to pick the Houston-Baltimore under and the Arizona-Washington under. It's a fucking joke. What's he doing? Playing money lines and missing how many? I had 5 locks. Of the 5 locks, 4 were unders. Of the 4 free plays, 2 were overs and 2 were unders. I'm not betting the games. They're too hard. I'm betting the over-unders because they're simple. You establish the quarterback and the defense, and you just pound it. So he's missing the basic point. But he's the Keynesian in the economy. He's the Bitcoin guy. He's part of the clueless people that are not in gold, they're in Bitcoin, or they're in the stock market, or these are the guys that don't get it that are going to get trampled. And that's the problem. You need to get him in gold, but he's got gold jewelry. Well, no, you don't have jewelry because they're not worth anything. This was a graduation gift. Otherwise, I would not have it. I got rid of my wedding ring and I had a bracelet. I got rid of both and I bought a half ounce of gold with it. And I'd much rather have the half ounce than the jewelry because it's not going to last. But this, I'll never give up. It's just, this is my graduation, my master's. This is like my professor chain, so I'm never giving it up. But it doesn't. I'm never selling it. It's not meant as an investment. It's meant as a you've got your master's, and so you don't give. I don't take it off. I'm in the pool with it. I sleep in it. The only time is when I need X-rays, and they say take off your gold chain. I don't know why, but so you have to figure things out. So basically, these guys have not figured out. They don't even know what inflation is. It is not prices. How many times do we got to say it was $35 for an ounce of gold? It's now $2,000 for an ounce of gold. The ounce of gold, still an ounce of gold. Therefore, it is the dollar that lost its value because it takes 2,000 of them to buy the same ounce of gold. Pretty soon it's going to take 20,000, but they don't want gold to go because then people realize, oh, shit, the dollar's lost so much value. Because what do you tell me? Well, gold's at $19.50 an ounce. And I'm saying, well, what's the dollar at? Can you answer that question? You can't, because nobody knows that the dollar, except for me, is worth 1 cent. This dollar is now worth 1 cent of the dollar, right? It's not worth $1 anymore. It's worth 1 cent, but you can't find it because nobody keeps score. They keep score of the dollar versus the euro and the yen, but they don't keep track that the dollar has no value. But gold, they'll keep value and say, well, it's $19.50 an ounce, which is pure bullshit, because this is, if you're pricing it in dollars and the value of the dollar dropped and Oreos go from $2 to $5, how is gold not going from 2,000 to 5,000? If the logic holds and Oreo goes up. Now, you can't track it in cars because the interest rates offset the price, which they don't tell you. So they think it's low because they can't sell cars. So how are we not in a recession when Toyota can't sell a car, you can't sell a house, interest rates are used, but we're not in a recession? Oh, okay. We believe you. I mean, what the kind of fuck is that? I mean, it's ridiculous. So that's really the problem. People are so naive. They listen and they'll say that's what it is. And you're like, no, they're not telling you the truth. That's why I tell you, don't listen to half these idiots on YouTube. They don't know what they're talking about. Rick Rude is a credit analyst. He's not an economist. What the fuck does that guy know? He doesn't know anything. He's scamming everybody with the ETFs because you don't own gold. You're going to get scammed. Right? So you're getting made off by Rick Rude and his ETF because he plans it's related to the physical price of gold, which it's not, as if you have gold, which you don't, which you'll get gold, which you won't. So when gold goes to 20,000, then what are you going to do with your ETF? You can say, hey, I need the coins. And he's like, sorry, we don't have any. We just made off you. I mean, that's basically what he's going to do. He should be in jail. That Sprout guy and all these other idiots selling ETFs should go to jail because they're scamming everybody into believing you have actual gold because they sell it as if it's physical gold. Don't buy ETFs. You don't want to be in them because you don't have anything. Unless you have that gold coin in your hand, you don't have it. And if you don't have it, you're not going to get it. Because when the shit hits the fan, everybody's going to want it. There's 1,000 people thinking they own a coin in an ETF that none of them own. Rick Rude owns it. So you got to be very careful there. But it's the same old stuff, Bobby. It's just, we know what's happening. We know it's just taking time. My prediction is soon, but I can't name the time. I can't say December it's going to be 50,000, but I can say it will hit 50,000. And again, it's when people wake up and realize the dollar's worthless is when it goes up. And that's basically it. So we'll find that out, but we know that's where it's going. And so all we can do is keep buying gold and silver at these ridiculously low prices. We know they're undervalued because if they're priced in dollars and the dollar's being inflated and going down, which we know that's the case, the price should be going way up. Why isn't it? Because it's fixed. Okay. And then BRICS will clean that out. I know I ask this a lot, Professor, but how do we get taxed on the metal since some got receipts, some don't? Well, they'll probably just, I don't know. I don't think it matters. A lot of it, silver probably won't even get 1099. It's only, I don't even know at what price do they 1099 you? Is it 10 grand? Is it 20 grand? I heard they don't 1099 US Eagles. I heard they don't 1099 the half ounce, quarter ounce, tenth of an ounces. Then I heard they don't 1099 the Cougarans, Maple Leafs, and the Philharmonics. There is no set. If you try to look at gold taxed 1099, you can't get an answer. As far as I'm concerned, they can 1099 me, but what are they going to do? Audit everybody who has gold and say, so, okay, sell it for 50 grand. There's no record. So I can say I bought it for 49 grand. So I made $1,000. Prove I didn't. How do you prove that? That's why a lot of the purchases I buy, I want to use cash. So you don't have Professor buying it. You just have cash sales. You don't have anybody. So how do you prove I didn't pay 49,000 when it goes up to 50? And that's the point. They can't. And what are they going to go knock on everybody's door? So that's the thing. It's just I would just say I didn't make any money on it. 1099 is just strictly what they bought it from you for. But on your taxes, it's net. This is what I bought it for. This is what I'm selling it for. Oops, I bought it for 49. I sold it for 50. I made $1,000. You prove I didn't. And if they leave it to us to prove, they're going to audit everybody who got gold. I mean, that's the thing. So you're dealing with idiots in the government right now. You're dealing with probably the stupidest people ever to be in the government. So, do you have to prove you bought it for 49, or do they have to prove you bought it for 40? You didn't buy it for 49. I'm not clear, and I'm not a tax person, but that's really the question you're asking. Who has to prove the 49? And so even though you're 1099, it's $1,000. So it's $5. Do I think 1777 got his feelings hurt? I don't know. I don't know who 1777 is. He seemed a little bit like he didn't know what he was doing, talking money lines in football. I bet, so at 1968, 1969 to today, I've never played a money line. Money line is not played in football. That's why there's points. You're usually betting the points. All the Steelers in the 70s, all the 49ers, the Jimmy Johnson teams, when they played Nebraska and I'm getting 14 points in that 84 championship game, I'm not money lining it. I got 14 points. I never think of money lining it. And as I tell you, I never would recommend it because the odds suck. I know it's normally 11 to 10 in a teaser. So I know exactly what my thing is. And if I want to get odds, I can play a 3-team teaser. But to money line football, that's absurd. That's a terrible, you know, especially like if you're playing. So you're going to money line Michigan over Bowling Green. They're 40-point favorites. What are you going to bet $20,000 to win 100? Why would that be smart? You're better off betting 100 and lay the 40 points and hope they cover. And you know they're going to score a lot. I mean, that's how you play football. You do not play money line. So that tells me he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then I don't know him. Did I get his feelings hurt? I have no idea. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but this is a class, and he clearly doesn't know what he's doing. So he can either watch the class and learn or whatever, but I don't know. I don't care, Bobby. I'm trying to teach whoever's watching, not care about the guy who got his feelings hurt because I told him don't to play money lines. I mean, that's an obvious. I don't know anybody playing money line football. By the way, do you ever take naps during the day? Probably right after this. I took one. Now, I didn't sleep well last night. So when I got home, it was 11 o'clock. I was watching North Dallas 40. I love the movie. And I think near the end, or Commando, one of those, I was watching movies to relax and I fell asleep. So I'll be watching a movie or something. Even sometimes I watch Alligator or Egon and I nod off, or Mark McGuire because the idiot goes, "Oh, this is the greatest information ever." So I tend to nap while I'm watching TV, but I don't care. Especially now I'm not working, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I can. I take like I'll probably take a nap. I feel pretty tired right now, but I didn't sleep well, so yeah, I do, of course, and I've already went swimming, so I don't really need. I'll probably go to the lake and do my football, but I like going to the lake and watching the water and then going through the games. I try to, but can never seem to pass out, and I'm on 4 hours sleep now. Well, turn on a good movie and or golf or something, and you'll fall asleep. So there's no capital gains on the. Well, there is, but only on certain ones. Maybe not on Eagles, not on quarters, halves, and dimes. So there is on some and not on the other. I don't think it's really clear. I never sold metals at Coin Store before. Have you done that yet? No, I haven't. I'm buying. I'm not. There's no reason to sell it. No, I've sold cards on eBay. I've sold baseball cards, football cards, but that was years ago, and there was never a tax, a 1099. If we get 1099 selling a gold coin on eBay, then again, like I said, it's that's what I sold it for, but a capital gains tax. So what did I buy it for? And then so if you put I sold it for 50 and you put I bought it for 45, are you going to get audited? I doubt it. They're going to assume, or you put a number like 46,300. You'll never get audited because they're going to say, how could he come up with that number? He must have actually bought it for that. They have no idea. So, if they chase it, say, well, that's what I bought it for. Oh, I lost the receipt. I mean, I just don't see them. It's like a traffic light, right? It's red, no right on red. But if you make the right, is there anybody there to give you the ticket? No. So, as long as you're safe, I don't know why, that even matters. So I don't know. But in my mind, I'm not worried about it. I would just say, if you get 50 for it, I would put 47. Now, if you're selling it for 6,000-7,000, I don't think I think the 1099 will be 10,000 and over. So your silver, you should be okay. Even if it goes to 3,000, just sell 3 at a time, sell sell 3 and then sell 3 again, and each sell is 6,000. So there's no 1099. Well, we'll outsmart them, Bobby. I never okay. How they know the gain, that they don't know the gain. You tell them the gain. So like I said, if the 50 grand, they'll see that's what you sold it for. They don't know what the gain is. You've got to tell them, I bought it for 10,000 or 20 or 30. So you're going to tell them that let's say I bought it for 40, even though we bought it for 2, and I sold it for 50. So I made 10 grand on it. So, and they're going to see, and then, okay, but it's all up to you. And then you might have to prove it, which you can't because you don't have a receipt. So say, I didn't keep a receipt. So how are they going to say, well, we're going to put 2,000 down? I mean, they can't do that. So I don't know. And I don't know that they're going to audit everybody. So again, like I said, it's like the lights. You're not supposed to speed, but you do. But if you don't get caught, it doesn't matter. And that's the same thing here. You put 40, you made 5,000 on it. Are they really going to audit you? Probably not. And therefore, if they don't, then, your capital gains is, let's say, so it's 50, you just put 45,000 down. And so you do your taxes, 45,000, you made 5,000, and that's it. And they, there's absolutely no way they can tell one way or the other. Do you have to prove it is my question, or do they have to prove it? And you can't prove it. You don't have a receipt. Then what are they going to do? They're going to say, well, we're just going to assume 2,000. That's rarely, well, what are they going to do? I don't know. For all they know, the silver kangaroos were a gift from a friend. They could be, but then that would be a higher capital gains because, if you sell it for $2 grand, you didn't pay anything for it. Maybe he will learn more on this class and become 17. He'll become 1877. But okay, that's our whole point, Bobby. Is he open-minded enough to learn? He wants to keep throwing his crap out. I like Carolina to upset, whatever. He doesn't have a clue. Bryce Young ain't upsetting anybody. Bryce Young's not winning a game. Okay, this is pro ball. He is not ready for it. He wasn't that good at Alabama. He's not a number one. It's just like Josh Rosen and even Baker Mayfield. How good is he? He's really not that good. So you've got to, if you come to class, you need an open mind. You can't think you're smarter than me. That's what I was trying to tell him. Like, dude, I'm the teacher. You're not in my level. You're not even close to my skill set and my level. So don't bring this shit to me because there's nothing you're going to bring to me that I'm going to learn from you. So if you're coming to class, bring something that I can learn. But he doesn't. His comments are very weak. I like Carolina. Okay, why do you think Carolina is going to upset whoever they're playing? And I can destroy him because I said, well, you got Bryce Young, and he can't beat anybody. He can't beat the Lions. So that's why I ask you to be open-minded. Then I'm going to explain gold to you. Now, you understand gold because the way I explained it. So you're open mind to see what I'm talking about. Am I full of shit, or do I actually know what I'm saying? Then you realize I actually know what I'm saying, and now you listen and say, oh, okay, I'm going to buy gold and silver because it makes sense. That's what he has to bring to the class, right? You tell me about Bitcoin, you better tell me about why I would buy it, because I've heard too many times it's a Ponzi scheme. Egon says it's a Ponzi scheme. I can show you that. His video, he says it's a Ponzi. If nobody buys it, it can't go up in value. It's a Ponzi scheme, right? How does Bitcoin go up? Because somebody buys it. That's not in gold. doesn't go up because somebody buys it. But you got a lot more buyers in gold, especially central banks. How many central banks are buying Bitcoin? None. Or they get excited because somebody says, oh, we'll do an ETF. We'll do a crypto ETF. Why would that make the value? It doesn't make them more valuable. It just makes another way to buy them, but I'm still not buying it. Maybe I'll put on that Army Monroe fame that do the trick. Why? Oh, the Army Monroe game. There you go, Bobby. Put that. Enjoy that one. Hi, G. How are you? I know I helped you last week. You were going to take Pitt under, or you were going to take Pitt as the dog with Cleveland. Good pick on Cleveland, but I talked you into the free one, and then so I know you won that one. And that's the point. That's what I was trying to. Really, those were locks. The free picks were locks, but I felt bad that people lost on the Army Texas, so I made them free. My locks went 5-0. My free picks went 4-0. So that's 9-0. If you just bought the locks and the free picks, and we had the Jets last night, and Colorado and Michigan were there. Arizona, well, that was the free picks. And then in the pros, San Diego over. So the only loser I had in the pros was Cincinnati. So I had the Jets. And really, I just had like UTSA over and I think the Cal Auburn game over, and there was no points. That's where you get fooled. They'll play a high school team. They'll win 62-0, and you look at the stats. They get 600 yards. You go, oh, this is an over team, and then they play a better defense, and they don't score, and you're like, what the fuck? So that only happens to me once. Usually I avoid that shit. I just play Michigan under. I play, now Colorado's joined the team. Notre Dame's joined the team. Miami of Florida's joined the team. Once we get Cam Rising, I don't know. So he's probably not going to play this week. They're playing Division II. And right now their defense has been holding them. I assume after that, he'll be back for when they start playing USC, Oregon, Washington, UCLA. I'm sure he'll be back for them. Otherwise, what's the point? But we will see. I meant that big help. Well, you're welcome, G. I meant that fame would help me now. Oh, the game would, yeah. Yeah, I figured you out, Bobby. Yeah, that would, well, that or turn on a golf tournament. You're welcome, G. No problem. Yeah, I mean, if you want an app, you can read an accounting book or a tax book. That'll put you out. I hate reading. I think way too fast. So if I'm reading in the middle of my reading, I go to a thought. I might think of the gals. I might think of a football game. I might think of gold. And I'm trying to study something here. And so I can't, my mind's over here as I'm trying to read. So I don't even know what I'm reading anymore. I hate reading. I'm much better watching, but my mind's too active. Even when I'm watching like Alligator, my mind starts moving to other thoughts. So, well, you can see me here. I start on a thought and then another thought interjects. Then I go back to the initial thought. It's just the way I am. I'm too quick. What else? So yeah, we're all like, when's gold going to go up? When's silver? But you're asking the question when, and not if. So you're not saying, will it go up? You know it will go up. It's when will it go up? It'll be soon. But we don't know when, but we know BRICS is coming out with the gold-backed currency, and Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, they're all going to oil, and they all want to get paid gold for their oil. So gold's got to go way up in value, and they're doing it, and it's just a matter of time. And everybody hates the U.S. There's 90 countries want to go BRICS because they're going to have gold-backed currency, which I think is ready very, very soon to go. And then you got that moron on Mark McGuire's show trying to come up with gold dollars by the 120th. So you see, you can barter it. He's so stupid. He doesn't understand anything. You always have the medium of exchange. Let's go through. Let me find it. I'm not really prepared, but we want to explain what the medium of exchange is. Medium of exchange. So this is again from the Masters. Medium of exchange, what everybody wants, it's money. Originally, cows were the medium of exchange. They have to have two values, an exchange and a use. Convenience developed by economics. So gold is not really a good medium of exchange because things aren't priced in gold. So it makes it, it's not a convenience. This is convenient because they can print these and I can have this and I can go to the grocery store and see chicken for $1.99 a pound like I did today, and it was $10. So instead of using this, I can use my debit card, which is really this. Everybody gets confused like it's not real money. There's no difference between using the debit card for $50 and using $50 in cash. There's no difference. People think it's different. No, the money's in my account, the $50. So it's convenience. The qualities of the medium of exchange. It must be portable. A little bit does a lot of work. Scarce, which this is not. For a high value, overabundance loses values, as we're talking. Divisible for small exchanges. Fungible, everything is the same. And replaceable. Acceptance, so it's got to be accepted by everybody. Durable, that's why gold was the medium of exchange. And value is most marketable commodity. So how is Bitcoin doesn't fit? But that's why you have this. It's portable. It's all, everybody has a $1 bill. However, it's not scarce. Divisible, that's why you have a 1, a 5, a 10, a 20 for small exchanges. And that's the beauty of the debit card. Comes out at $37. Your debit card covers it. Fungible, everything is the same. So every $1 bill is the same. Every 5, every 10, every 20, every 100. Acceptance, so everybody takes it. So that's why you go to Kroger's or Target and you can use this in a debit card. And the thing is, you're not going to use the gold like this idiot's making 1/20th of an ounce of gold money. Well, is the only way his dollar works. So he's a PhD, but doesn't understand this medium of exchange, Austrian definition. This is why Austrian economics works, Adam Smith. And these other idiots I laugh at because they don't have a fucking clue. You cannot come out with a currency based on gold. How is it going to be acceptable? Everybody's going to accept it. Is it durable? Well, it's paper. Is it fungible? Everything is the same. No. It's portable? Is it scarce? Yes. Is it divisible for small exchanges? That's what he's trying to make it. And then the acceptance. No, it's not accepted because you can't go to Target or Kroger's and you go buy your milk and bread and, it's priced in dollars, not in the gold one. So he's still going to have a problem. And then his problem is going to be when gold goes to 50,000 an ounce and he's sitting there with these 1/20th dollar or gold dollars. So now what are you going to do? Now you need to come out with a 1/50th. I mean, because you're not pricing. So if you were to price milk in 1/50th of an ounce of gold, then you print 1/50th of an ounce of gold, then it would work. Well, otherwise, you put it in your bank account and you use. So from what I talk to when I go to Fifth Third, you're still going to use cash, and that's your debit card. So you want to use the debit card. It's electronic. It's not digital. The digital won't work because you got to price everything in digital. You've got to have it in your bank account digital, on your debit and credit cards digital, and everybody has to accept it. And you got to know what the value is. So that is what most people don't get. What are you going to revalue milk at, and Oreos and Cheerios and bread and pistachio nuts? You have to change all the prices. So that's why you need dollars, because it'll be, okay, pistachio nuts goes from $8 to $4 because you come out with a new dollar. But you need the medium of exchange. That's what's critical here, is you have to have the medium of exchange. So you come out with dollars that are gold, that's 1/20th. I don't see the value of that over a gold coin. I got a 1/10 of an ounce gold coin. I got a 1/4 ounce. It doesn't matter. I'll put it in the account. Gold's at 50,000. A 1/4 ounce is divided by 4 is 12,500. And then I can put that in my bank account. I got 12,500 on my debit card. And then I go, and this is 32 cents, and this is $2.50. And then the total comes out to $33, and I got the $33. But I'm putting the gold into my account, getting credit as for the fiat currency or whatever you're using. I don't see any way in the world that this gold currency can possibly work. And I don't see what's the difference between that and the gold coins. Why do you need gold currency when you have gold coins? What would be the point? And then the question that came up is, well, how do I know this is a 1/4 ounce of gold? So let's say you're dealing with a $50 gold bill. Well, where's my $50 of gold? If I have the gold coin, I kind of know this is a 1/4 ounce, right? I know it's worth $600-700. I have it. I don't need to ask. But if I get one of your dollars that you're saying, what? You're saying it's worth $500 in gold? How do you know? So that's the problem. This guy's an idiot with the gold money. There's no reason for it. If you have the gold coin, you don't need the gold dollar. Like, what are you trying to do? And he's trying to barter it, and he's trying to say, well, these are 1/64th of an ounce of gold, so you can go to Target and buy milk with it. Totally missing the point. You don't need that. Just keep the debit card. You sell it. You put the money in the bank. Because they've got to accept that. Who's going to accept it? You only accept money because the government forces you to. So I would take, if you wanted to pay me for my picks in gold and silver, be my guest. You can do that all you want. That would be fine. So, but I won't take Bitcoin, and I take dollars. And as soon as I get them, I go to the gold store and change it for gold. So I'm basically getting paid for gold. And that's what's happening with the oil. They're basically getting the money and changing it for gold. The Saudis, the Russians, the Chinese, everything. So changing all the prices over will be very difficult if you go to gold. What is milk worth? And you can't sell it and say it's worth 1/64th of an ounce of gold. What are the people that don't have gold? How are they going to, what are they going to pay for it? See, it doesn't work because it's got to be accessible and agree. Everybody's got to use it, right? The same thing. And there's not enough gold to go around that everybody would go to Target, buy a milk with this 1/64 ounce of gold dollar. So you need this. That's why you need this, but you back it by gold, because this will be consistent. And then, well, it's still not consistent, because what do you do? Now, what do I do when I go to Europe? Well, I change my US dollars for euros, or I use my debit card. So if it's a $40 dinner, me and Jenna go on and I pay with the debit card. It says, okay, you owe $44 in euros or whatever. And that's how I pay for it. And the debit card is approved, and I paid for the meal in euros with the debit card. That's the beauty of the debit card. Because you don't want to keep exchanging your money and then needing the dollars because you get so fucked on the exchange rate. But that's really what you're doing. So of exchange has to be agreeable, and the merchant and the purchaser, the buyer, has to have the same thing. So this gold currency will never work because the stores need to take it, and they won't. I mean, because everybody would then need it. Or you're going to come up with two systems. Well, it's 1/64th of an ounce of gold or $20. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So this guy is very clueless on what he's thinking. And you already have the coins. I don't need paper. Thank you very much. I just assume got my 1 ounce of gold and off I go. Anyway, anything else, Bobby G? So I see a lot of pro games already right off the shoot. I've already got them predetermined. And then college is like, okay, I got my overs, I got my unders, Colorado, Notre Dame, so I can already see we're taking Colorado this week against Colorado State because primetime is off on a mission. But I don't think primetime can handle Oregon and the USC and Washington and Washington State and UCLA or Utah. I think he's got Utah. What a schedule! So he'll be better in the Big 12, I think. Well, the reason it'll be better if Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC, then it's TCU, Baylor, Houston, Cincinnati, UCF in the Big 12. You won't have Texas and Oklahoma to fuck around with. So it'll be interesting next year because already Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, and BYU are in the Big 12. It's a nightmare trying to go through these teams, realizing, oh shit, no, they've switched conferences already. Anyway, I think that's about it. 4:00. I think I'm going to take a nap. I'll probably go to the lake and walk and study football, but I need to rest. Like I said, I've already been to the pool. It was nice going to the pool. I think I was there at 7:30. Nice and quiet. I had the lane to myself and took a nice hot tub, and I felt better. So I guess if you're not feeling well, go do your swim or run in the pool and go take your hot tub. And I think the water is a big healer in my mind. Seems to be anyway. So anyway, feel good, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I'll wait for any more questions. I'll give you a minute or two. And that's about it. So really, we've got everything down. We know we want to buy gold and silver. We want to buy it at this price. And we know it's going to go up. It's like the Titanic is sinking, but we don't know when it'll sink. So you're asking the question, well, when's it sinking? Well, I don't know, but the water's coming in. It's probably not too far. So we know the dollar's crashing, and we know they want it to crash because these anti-Americans are running America. Just amazing. Like, if I'm anti-China, I'm not trying to crash China. I'm just not buying from them or whatever. So it's very simple. Anyway, very tired. Yep, I'm going to go take a nap, turn on a movie, and I'll be out. But anyway, have a wonderful day. So today is Tuesday. Good game yesterday. Terrible problem with Aaron Rodgers. But that turns that into an under. Keep in mind, when the quarterback gets injured, it's low scoring. And when you have a defense like the Jets, then it's a beautiful under. So you're going to bet them under. David, thanks a lot, Professor. Get that back better, and we'll see you tomorrow. Sure, David. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's like I got a text from this gal in Europe. And, I said, well, when did you want to meet? So she finally responded. And she says, let me know how your back's doing. And I said, I really appreciate that. It was nice to hear it. Daria is killing me. She it's like she'll go to work, and I guess she doesn't understand. Like, I just want to hear from her. I'm okay. Me and my daughter are okay. Have a nice day. That's all I want, is just to know she's okay, because she's in Russia, and I have no idea. And you never know with the Russians. And like, she won't respond. So like today, I don't have a thing. I don't hear from her. I see her online, but I know she's working, and off we go. So the other girls, uh, Jenna, I talk to every day, and Irina, pretty much, she's doing a baptism for her son on Friday. So she's nervous. I said, don't be nervous. Nobody cares. It's a baptism. What are you going to do? I mean, what can go wrong? And then what are you going to care? Like, what do you think would happen if something did go wrong for a fucking baptism? Nothing. I mean, nobody cares. They'll try to help you, and off you go. You don't have to worry about it. So she's busy with that. But even she said, I hope you're okay. And, I said to her, the problem is, if something seriously happens to me, you'll never know, because I won't be able, if I can't text her. And I think that's the problem. I said the same thing to Jenna. What do we do if one of us gets seriously hurt? We won't know because we communicate through WhatsApp. So I says, if you don't hear from me in a week, there's a big problem with me. So anyway, Bob, appreciate it, Professor. See you tomorrow for economics. Yeah, whatever. We'll still talk football. But anytime, Bobby, with economics. And I'll look for Egon and Alligator. They're due for a show already. Mark McGuire's show on Friday will be terrible because he'll have a guest. The problem when he has the guest is he listens to the guest. You're wasting half the time with the guest that you don't care about. You want to hear, it's like we didn't want to hear 1777 talk about the games. We're here to hear that I teach you the games, right? So I'm in charge of the class, saying this is what I like and why. That's why you come. And we don't want to hear 1777 talk to us about his games, because we don't know who he is, and what he's talking about makes no sense. So anyway, I'll look for them, and hopefully they'll be on soon. But anyway, have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care. Get your sleep, Bobby, and go hit the gym or whatever. Well, Alligator gets asked to do a lot, so he could be on other channels that we don't see. I don't know. But I'm usually pretty quick to pick him. He'll just go through my list, because I'll go gold, then I'll get every gold. I'll get Peter Schiff, who I hate, but I'll get that. So that's the things. You're welcome, Bobby. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Time to take a nap. All right, www.teaserking.com. Nothing's posted for next week yet, but I'm not seeing the over-unders change like I've been. They seem to be pretty steady, which is good, so I can really focus on them and go from there. All right. All right, take care, everybody. www.teaserking.com.